So far, Ibrahim Traore has successfully avoided being ousted like Bashar al-Assad. But with one Russian ally out of the picture, the West isn't going to stop there. So it's not a matter of if they'll come for these Sahel leaders next, it's when. Traore alone has faced 5 assassination attempts in just 2 years.
He really is sneaky.
But what's the secret to surviving these constant threats? After digging through some of history's most catastrophic regime changes from Libya to Algeria to Syria, I've uncovered 3 critical mistakes these Sahel leaders are skillfully avoiding. But one wrong move and their regimes could collapse, dragging Africa's hard-fought independence down with them. However, if they stay on course, they could lead the continent into a new era of growth, stability, and strength. So in this video, I'll break down these mistakes and show you exactly how the Sahel leaders are already tackling these challenges. Starting with a harsh lesson Assad learned too late. So, do you know what's the similarity between the Syrian regime of Assad and the regimes of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger? At first glance, they seem worlds apart, but dig a little deeper and you'll find they all share one critical flaw. Think of it like your favorite football team relying entirely on one star player. If that player is injured, the whole team collapses. And that's exactly what happened to Bashar al-Assad. Assad bet everything on Russia to secure its regime, but he didn't build a strong military capable to withstand Western pressure. And when the West wants you gone, they don't stop until you are either gone or worse, dead.
How do you know that?
Well, just ask Libya's Gaddafi. His revolution in September 1st, 1969, which immediately cost countries like Britain an estimated $100 million in lost oil infrastructure investments and access to military bases, made him a target for decades. And in 2011, the West finally got your revenge.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
But what's the big takeaway here for the Sahel leaders? Well, relying solely on Russia isn't just risky, it puts them on the same dangerous path as Assad and Gaddafi. But Traore, Goïta, and Tiani are already diversifying their military partnerships with countries like China, Turkey, or even regional African powers. This will create a balanced and resilient foundation.
Good job, soldier. You and your squad.
However, doing this alone won't be enough to ensure their survival or to build a stronger, self-reliant Africa. Which brings us on to the second big mistake these leaders just have to keep avoiding. And this one hasn't just wrecked nations, it's ruined friendships. So pay attention, Steve. You know that one friend who is loyal until their interests no longer align with yours. One day, they are your biggest supporter, and the next, they are working against you. Well, congratulations, you've just learned Geopolitics 101. And this guy, Charles de Gaulle, the legendary French colonizer, summed it up perfectly when he said, "States have no friends, just interests." And this lesson is especially true today when you look at Turkey's action in Syria. Back in 2016, Erdogan needed saving from a Western-backed regime change attempt, so Russia stepped in and helped him hold onto power. But fast forward to 2024, and Erdogan allegedly switched sides, backing the West in overthrowing Assad, one of Russia's key allies.
Nobody knows who the other side is, but I do. You know who it is? Turkey. Okay? Turkey's the one behind it.
However, Erdogan's reason for this betrayal is quite simple. Turkey's self-interest always comes first.
He's a very smart guy. They've wanted it for thousands of years, and he got it.
For Erdogan, the idea of Russia dominating both Turkey's maritime border in the Black Sea and its land border through Assad was a hard no. So he made a move to limit Russia's influence.
What mercy.
But what does this mean for the Sahel states? Well, Goïta, Tiani, and Traore are working closely with Turkey. and reports suggest Turkey has supplied them with drones and military equipment to fight jihadists. But alliances like these are only as strong as their mutual interests. The moment Turkey sees a better opportunity, just like they did in Syria, the deal's off and the Sahel leaders are left exposed. But don't panic, these leaders have surely figured out Turkey's true motives in the Sahel region.
A motive? A motive for what?
Well, as part of its strategy to limit Russia's influence, the US aims to promote enhanced cooperation between NATO southern members, non-major allies, and the Sahel states. And since Russia hasn't resolved all its issues, the Sahel states are likely to accept assistance from US partners like Turkey. But knowing this isn't a safety net against betrayal from external allies. So the Sahel leaders have urgently strengthened regional agreements. Their Liptako-Goma Defense Agreement binds them to assist one another, including militarily, in the event of an attack on any one of them, and to work to prevent or settle armed rebellions.
Faced with the gravity of these facts, the College of Heads of State of the Confederation 1 decides to put the security forces in a maximum alert state. 2 decides to make the confederal space a unique theater of military operations.
But relying on regional agreements can only get them so far. So, the Sahel states have been actively investing in their own defense infrastructures and capabilities. However, seeing through hidden agendas could help these leaders maintain their regime for now. But for Africa's hope of building a stronger, more independent future, they must keep avoiding this last big mistake. Now, unless you're Tarzan living in the jungle, you've probably heard of radicalized Islamism. But think of it like a wildfire. It doesn't start on its own. Someone lights the match, usually with a hidden agenda. And once it ignites, it spreads rapidly, leaving destruction in its wake. In the 1980s, the West was heavily implicated in the Saudi CIA-funded jihad in Afghanistan that aimed to deal a body blow to the intervening Soviet Union. And this resulted in a generation of radicalized fighters. Then came the 1990s, Algeria's Black Decade, ravaged by radicalized Islamism. Over 150,000 lives were lost. And what did the CIA do? They focused on securing oil flows in the region, leaving France to clean up the mess. And today, that same strategy is in play in Syria, with radicalized Islamism being used to land a brutal hit to Russia's influence in the region.
What a painful sight for President Vladimir Putin.
But what does this have to do with the Sahel states? Well, these nations are predominantly Muslim, and any type of political unrest, like the recent dissolution of government in Burkina Faso and Mali, is like sitting on a pile of dry tinder. And if these leaders are not careful, someone, the West, could strike the match, infiltrating and radicalizing Muslim groups to destabilize the entire region. But here's the good news. Traore, Goita, and Tiani are already preventing this.
But how?
By understanding and addressing the concerns of all social classes through national talks like the Inter-Malian Dialogue. And because radicalization thrives where opportunity is absent, these leaders have been massively investing in socio-economic works and counter-radicalization programs. It can greatly weaken the influence of extremist groups. Finally, Traore, Goita, and Tiani have greatly strengthened their intelligence networks to detect and dismantle radicalization efforts swiftly before they take root. Now, these leaders have proven they have what it takes to adapt and thrive through all the challenges. And if they keep getting this right, they won't just protect their regimes, they will redefine Africa's future forever. But now that you know how these leaders can avoid regime changes, you need to understand why they are key for an independent Africa. So check out this video next to find out.